and welcome to Tyra Mini Reads, Reviews, Discusses, Monologues about everything and anything, and that's on period. Hi guys, and welcome to my channel. So today I wanted to talk about a book that I just finished reading quite recently, and this is a book by a Nigerian author, Lola Akinmade Akerström, called In Every Mirror She's Black. I will also be talking about the sequel to this book, which is Everything Is Not Enough by the same author. So let's get started. So a quick story. I have had this book since 2020 or 2021. It's been a while and I just never read it. I never picked it up. It was just on my shelf. And I was like, I should read this book, but I just kept on pushing it off. And then Everything Is Not Enough came out. I think it came out last year. So in hindsight, I mean, it was good because I got to read the two books at the same time. And I think that definitely added to my enjoyment and frustration with this book. So let's start with the characters. So we are following three Black women, Kemi, Brittany, and Muna. Kemi is a Black Nigerian marketing executive that works in this marketing company in Washington, D.C. She just got awarded like a best I don't know, marketing person for the year. So she's like, she's doing well in her field. We also meet Brittany, who is a flight attendant. She is a Black American lady, and she works the first class and business class stations on the airline or in the airline, whatever. And so she's from ATL. And then the last person we're following is Muna, who is from Somali, and she's a refugee seeking asylum in Sweden or Stockholm, Sweden. So these three ladies are, their lives are kind of like revolving around one dude called Johnny von London or Luden, who is a rich guy from Stockholm or Sweden, whatever. And his company has a very big marketing company in Sweden, and so he's rich. He's like uber rich, like billionaire status, whatever. So these three women are all kind of connected to Johnny, and so in this book we kind of follow them through a series of events that occur, and I will go through all of that. So first things first, before I get deeper into this book, I will just want to say this little blurb. This is going to be a bit spoilery, or it's going to be a spoilery period. I am going to be talking in depth about the characters, what made me so annoyed reading this book, and the character I hated the most. As you can see, I have a lot of feelings about this book. So if you haven't read this, or Everything Is Not Enough, please click off and come back when you've read both books, because I will be spoiling everything. The second thing is just going to mention a couple of themes that are prevalent in this book. Is you do have racism being talked about. Like, it's probably the main focus of the book is racism that Black people face in Sweden. You have workplace bullying. You have cheating on all proportions, like partners cheating on like a spouse, cheating on a boyfriend. It's diabolical, the cheating that goes on in this book. We have undiagnosed medical conditions for one of the character. And we also have a Black woman fetish that is from one of the characters. So, I mean, this is just like, it's just the tip of the iceberg. There's a lot going on in this book, and I really want to unpack it. The third thing that I'm going to say is I believe that this author, Lola, she did a fantastic job, because I don't know if I can, like, okay, how do I say this? The book has characters that are so terrible characters, but I believe that the author, and this is just my thinking, is she's drawing from some very realistic situations, what I'm trying to say is that the people she wrote about in this book, I believe they exist. That's really what I'm. So she's drawing from real life experience. Because I let's just start. So I'm gonna start with the the best person, or the least annoying person, and that would be Muna. Muna is, like I said, she's a Somalian refugee fleeing from her country due to the effects of war. She came to Stockholm, and she lost her family on the way, so she's literally alone. And when she arrives in Sweden, there is this like a facility or like a farm where that country has designated to send refugees seeking asylum up until their court cases, or their case is approved, and then they can be, admitted into society, that kind of thing. So Muna gets to this facility or this institution, which is supported or funded by Johnny Van Luden's family. So that's connection number one. So when she is in the asylum place, she meets this guy. They kind of have a connection. A lot of things goes down, but Muna is able to be granted asylum. She moves from that institution, and she is placed in a house with two other refugee women, both kind of like her age, a bit older. So one thing you need to know about Muna is someone that seeks validation from people. Because she's alone, she lost her family. She just seeks that connection with everyone she meets, and I think that was one of her biggest downfall, was she was too needy. And you need to realize that this is a cold world. People are not nice. People don't care about you, and so it takes her a long time for her to really, she struggles. I don't even know. It does take her some time, because in Everything Is Not Enough, you do see her getting better. She's healing from everything that has happened to her. But she's so hyper focused on family. She's depressed. She's lonely. She's sad. I think this was one of the best ways that a character could be portrayed as someone that's depressed, because you like she had a job, and she had people that she was communicating with, but she was still lacking that connection. And I can really see how it drove her to do what she did at the end of In Every Woman She's Black. Because something like, there's literally, the end of this book is like it's shocking. So Muna, I think she just needed connection. She needed family, and it was so depressing. I can't even imagine being in a strange country with no one that I know, and everyone you meet is just not nice. So, but another interesting tangent is Mona also gets a job as a cleaner in Johnny's company. So that's two layers of how she's connected to Johnny, but that was really the most of their connection. So I will jump to Brittany, because I can't even say her name. I'll get to her, but let's jump to Brittany. So Brittany is a flight attendant. She meets Johnny on this long Atlantic flight, I think from ATL to London or something like that, and they are kind of like attracted to each other. Um, at this particular point, Brittany has a boyfriend. So whenever Johnny gets to wherever he's going, he's like, "Hey, I want to invite you to dinner." And I mean, actually, I take that back. So she met Johnny the first time he flew to Washington D.C. from London, and they just exchanged like words like, "Hey, good morning, welcome to the flight," and she helped him throughout the flight. When he was going back from DC to London, he then speaks to her and says, "Hey, I would like us to have dinner in London," and he gives her a card. So Brittany has a boyfriend. They have been going steady for a couple of years, not one, not two. Like, they have an established relationship. What would you do in the situation? Would you go to the dinner? I mean, no, because you have a boyfriend, right? Well, my dear Brittany makes a terrible decision and she goes to the dinner. Although nothing happens during the dinner, that is what you call emotional. I don't know if it's emotional cheating. I mean, she didn't really cheat, but why did she go to the dinner? Anyways, because of the fact that she went to the dinner, Johnny Von Laden decides that, oh, like he takes that as a she likes me and pursues her to the point where her boyfriend realizes or finds out, and then that whole relationship is kabloomy. So she's then drawn or attracted. I mean, that look, Brittany and Johnny's relationship is like the worst kind of. I don't even understand what they were. Anyways, you have to read the book. I can't even really explain what I read. I can't explain their connection. It was so foul. Let me just put it. I'll use that word. I think it was foul because there's no way you can be attracted to someone in that kind of mess and that kind of situation, and you're telling me, oh, this is true love or this is love or I don't know. Anyways, the point is Brittany and Johnny get together, and so he, they're pretty much in a relationship. Along the line, Brittany starts to realize that Johnny is not he's not okay. Like there's something shifty about him, or there's something up with him, right? Added to the fact that all of his girlfriends have all been black women that look a certain way. So obviously there's a fetish. Now, my next point is I have never been to Sweden or Stockholm. I assume that this author, I mean, obviously she married someone there because her last name is Akerstrom, right? So I want to believe that she is just trying to explain the culture of when she gets, of whenever she moved to Sweden. I honestly, I don't know. My point is, the way she writes this book is that people in Sweden are super racist and are especially racist to people of color. So um, when Brittany is getting together with Johnny, she flies to Sweden, she meets his family, and the reception that she gets is very, very poor. Like everyone is just really snobbish. And even Johnny's best friend, Ragnar, remember that name, it's very important. Ragnar was kind of openly like racist. Like he wasn't racist, but you could tell like there was this kind of like he didn't like her and she could tell, right? So that was something that I guess I was taken aback by. Again, I don't know if this is just her just trying to make a story or truly, people in Sweden are like racist, because the racism in this book was a lot. Like I did not expect that. I, it was a lot. That just remember that. So anyways, Brittany is then stuck, struggling to fit in with Johnny's family, and also trying to make her way in a very surprise situation that she finds herself in, and also dealing with the fact that she does not speak the language, and so and also Johnny is super rich, so she doesn't have any friends. She has to be by herself because she decided to leave her job and basically move to Sweden for this guy. So, and Brittany is someone that has always been like, "Oh, I'm an independent woman." Yeah, that didn't really, yeah, it didn't turn out too well for her. But I will say this, that at the end of the day, Brittany was actually, it's so surprising the way she's written. She came from a really humble family, but then when she gets to Sweden and she's exposed to this life, yacht life, you know, a chauffeur, like anything she wanted, she could get it. She becomes a brat, essentially. Like she's so rude. She's downright dismissive of people, and she's just nasty. That's all I can say. So I couldn't make that connection between her parents and how down to earth they are, and how Brittany was when she met money. Like I'm sure Brittany of before was probably a well cultured person, but then she meets Johnny and she's it's instantly like, oh. I mean, her hair, she flew in someone to make her hair from London to Sweden. I don't know, check the flights or what. I mean, she became bougie, bougie, bougie. I don't think she was bougie to begin with. So that part was also, again, and this is why I say this book is so clever, because truly there are people like that. Like, they seem normal, you know them when they had nothing, nothing was going on for them, but immediately they make that money. Wow, the change is instant. Like, they be like, "Oh, I get massages every week." Please, please. I knew you when you were not getting massages at all. You didn't even know what a massage was. So I think that that was so clever to give that 360 turnaround to Britney's personality, because it's like, where was this hiding? So that's Britney. And then there's this whole saga that goes on, and then we kind of figure out why Johnny is the way he is, why he has a black woman fetish, and yeah, that whole part was very, very incoherent. But I guess it worked for the story. But yeah, okay. Last, we're gonna get to the most detestable character I've ever read in any book, and that would be Kemi. First of all, very insulted by this Kemi character, because Kemi is a Nigerian person. So I'm like, I don't identify with this lady. She's trash. One thing you need to know about Kemi is she is one of those judgmental people who are dismissive of people, who look down on people. But then if anything happens, they're like, "Oh my God, woe is me." Oh, they have no self-reflection at all. Like, zero. She always thinks that she's the victim and someone did something to her. I can't stand that mentality. That's the first thing. The second thing is, when you meet Kemi, she has this really nice job, right? But it's like she's not satisfied. And then she gets a job offer from Johnny Van Loden's company, because they need help with toning down their company image, which kind of seems like they're racist. And so they wanted to hire a black woman to show DEI, right? Diversity and all of that stuff, which is so interesting that this book came out 2020 or 2021. Who would have known that we would have DEI like just wiped out of the whole world? I mean, America, to be precise. But that's beside the point. Anyways, she's offered a job as head of marketing for this Van Loden company, but the thing is, she has to move to Sweden or Stockholm, but the company offers to pay for everything. So she's like, "Well, I don't really have a lot going for me. I feel like I've hit the peak in America. Maybe this is a good opportunity, so I'm going to take it." And she's like, "Well, I don't have any boyfriend, and my love life is dead essentially. So I'm ready for a change." So she agrees to take the job. She takes the job. She goes to Sweden. She starts, getting ingratiated in the company. This is where the workplace bullying gets in, because she realizes that, oh, it wasn't really a head of marketing position. Okay, it wasn't really a head of marketing position. They literally just brought her in because they wanted to show that they had diversity by literally hiring a black person. And I was like, but how did she not see that? I mean, that was like, it was like, I don't know. I honestly, I can, and that's her hubris. She just doesn't think. So anyway, she goes to Sweden, and she's doing hookups here and there, she just hooks up with people. I don't even see her trying to foster a relationship that she supposedly said she was trying to get, right? Anyways, she ends up meeting this guy Tobias, and they start to date. They're in a relationship, but Tobias is a security guard, so he doesn't match her. She's like a director, and he's like a security guard. So there's a power imbalance right there. So I think to some extent that got to her, but she never wanted to admit it. She kept saying, "Oh, Tobias is perfect for me," but then she has a sister, and her sister will be like, "Yeah, but are you sure? Like, you want someone that matches your profile," which I do kind of that's a 50-50. It depends on the person, right? Or the people. Like some people don't really care, but some people do. And Kemi was one of the people who did, but would lie and say she didn't. So, anyways, then um then then we get Ragnar. Ragnar is, remember who Ragnar is? Okay. So Ragnar is Johnny's best friend, and Ragnar is brought into the company to assist them with a marketing campaign that Kemi is a part of. And I swear, like the first instance that they meet, there's this like palpable like tension in the book. Like, oh my God, they couldn't stop, they were drawn to each other or something like that. Ragnar is married with a child. Kemi is in a relationship with Tobias. So these are not people that should be attracted to each other. Before I even get to the next part, in Kemi's previous company, her boss, I think his name was Connor or something like that. There was a kind of way that the writer or the author was trying to say that Kemi and her boss were almost towing the line. Or, well, not like she did anything deliberate, but she knew that if she gave him the green light, he probably wanted to sleep with her. But she wasn't like putting any boundaries, you know. So that's what I'm saying. Like I felt like her morality was questionable. So whenever she got to Sweden and she meets Ragnar and they have this raging chemical, whatever you want to call it, I mean, she ends up cheating on Tobias with Ragnar, who is a racist. Well, I mean, she knows he's racist. This is not so. Kemi was just, she was self-destructive. I have never seen a character like this. She was just and then after she sleeps with this dude, she's like, oh, never again. She then pretends like she has amnesia and never happened. Please. The next time she sees him, like she's all cancer, like I, I don't even know what to say. There's another scene, and this is the scene that cemented Kemi as a irredeemable character for me, was when she had just cheated with Ragnar in her apartment that she lives in with her boyfriend Tobias. And Tobias walks in after Ragnar has left, a couple hours, not like right after. But he left his cufflinks. And my dear Kemi says, oh, this was a gift for oh my, that was the height. I was like, what? Like my jaw was like freaking open. I was like, what the what the hell? No, Kemi was terrible. She was the worst. I can't even tell you. And the reason why this book frustrated me even more was the fact that at the end of Everything Is Not Enough, she actually got a really good ending. I was so mad. I was like, how can she get the guy? I mean, it was ridiculous how good her ending was. With all of this crap that she did, she had a friend that they had dinner and she told her, "Oh, I'm moving to Stockholm or whatever." And the friend was kind of cold about it. And she's like, "Yeah, that's the last time I'll be talking to this person." Like, what? I mean, you can understand that maybe Kemi was stressful. I'm so annoyed, but she was so stressful. And then when she does meet with Brittany, because remember, Brittany is dating the owner of the company that Kemi works in, they don't have a good encounter. They basically, like, Kemi is not a girl's girl. That's why I said the example about her friend. So when she meets Brittany, she kind of says something that, Brittany is like, wow. I mean, they literally almost go at it once they meet. So they automatically dislike each other. But then where I did not like at this point Brittany was telling Johnny, oh, you need to fire her. I was like, raise these people. Why are you guys so vindictive? Even to your people. I mean, I'm not saying like, but I'm just saying, like, you can't even look out for a sister. Although Kemi she was not a good person. She was not a good person, but I was just like, how would you go to this length to actually petition your boyfriend or husband, whatever, to fire this lady just because she made a comment that you did not like. Ah, yeah, it was detestable. The two of them were so detestable. I could not stand their character. But it made for a good experience because I blew through the book one, and I blew through book two. So at the end of the day, it's a whole scandal. Kemi has to leave well, she's fired basically for sleeping around with Ragnar. She loses her boyfriend, but that's why I said her ending was really good, because I was like, ugh, rolling my eyes. But it kind of ends up, all is well that ends for her. Like she ends up in a good place. Same with Brittany, even though Brittany was just really terrible. And also Muna, she got a good ending too. So at the end of the day, I think the stories were wrapped up well. Not to my liking, except Muna's. Muna's story was really good, but the other two, ugh, it was just trash. And then apart from all of this, I'm saying there was also, some other mystery going on with Johnny Van Laden and his family, and some unknown like family secret. So yeah, it was a very well fleshed out book. And I really enjoyed reading these characters. I know I did a video a while back about some African books that I recommend. This will be African books that I don't recommend, because I'm trying to, like, I want to recommend books that are edifying and educative. This was not. This was just a whole mess. Like, everyone was just being nasty. There was nothing to take from this, maybe except not be like those people. But yeah, it did not give any life lessons or anything like that, like compared to that last video. So read it if you kind of like messy entanglements like this. I tried not to give too much spoilers. There's still a lot of other stuff that happens in the book. But yeah, everything, or in every mirror she's black, was great. It was a good book, but I just had some frustrations with the characters, and I'm also concerned because like I said earlier, I feel like these characters are based on real people. So that's sad that they're actually people like this. And that's also sad that there's actually blatant racism in Sweden, if this book is to be believed, right? But I hope not. I honestly don't think that it is based on I don't think so. But if that's the case, that's really sad. But yeah, thank you so much for listening to me rant about this book. Let me know if you've read it. What were your thoughts? Did you read the second one? And did you like the way that their stories were, tied up or finished? I know I didn't like it, but I mean, it is what it is. So please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Until then, bye.